Tonight, moods and mercury on the rise.
It is quite rare, especially having the sun out, bright and sunny today.
In Winnipeg, people expect it to be frozen tundra.
Winnipeggers delight in unseasonably warm weather, but will it carry through to this weekend's Grey Cup festivities? Also tonight, a celestial spectacle.
I've never seen red that bright before in 40 years of sky watching.
What's behind the extraordinarily vivid northern lights and when you can catch the next show. Plus, fighting fare evasion.
Our members are starting to feel a little bit safer knowing that they're out there.
How many fare checks transit inspectors have made since the crackdown began, and how many people are being turned away.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Shock and anger tonight over news a notorious convicted killer is being allowed to reintegrate into society to finish the remaining years of his sentence. Sean Lamb was sentenced in 2013 after pleading guilty to killing 2 women. He's now being granted statutory release. CTV's Taylor Brock is standing by live in studio with the latest. Taylor, why is he being given statutory release?
Well, it's the letter of the law, Marilee. Lamb has served 2/3 of his 20-year sentence. By law, someone is entitled to statutory release unless they are considered likely to commit an offense causing death or serious harm, serious drug offenses, or a sexual offense involving a child before their sentence expires. In November 2013, Lamb was sentenced to 20 years in prison minus 2 years for time served after pleading guilty to 2 counts of manslaughter. It came after Lamb confessed to police in June 2012 to beating Carolyn Sinclair to death with an axe and strangling Lorna Blacksmith weeks later with a TV cord. Police heard both women were killed in his apartment after smoking crack cocaine. The women's remains were later found wrapped in plastic in back alleys. A parole board of Canada decision issued November 6 approved Lamb's statutory release. Several conditions were attached to that decision, including he must reside at an approved community-based residential or psychiatric facility for 6 months. He also has conditions for the remainder of his sentence. Those include being prohibited from consuming drugs or drinking alcohol. He cannot communicate with people who are or may be involved with criminal activity. He also must report all sexual and non-sexual relationships, including attempts, to his parole officer. The board warns Lamb presents a high imminent risk of violence towards a partner.
Taylor, how are people reacting to this news?
Well, there's outrage tonight, Marilee. MKO Grand Chief Garrison Settee says he is concerned, saying this decision is a painful reminder of the ongoing crisis of violence against Indigenous women and girls. He is calling for a review of statutory release provisions for violent offenders. More reaction and information continues to pour in. We have up-to-date details at ctvnewswinnipeg.ca.
All right, thanks for this, Taylor. Above average temperatures this week have prompted a Winnipeg golf course to open up tee times. The warm weather is also helping to heat up the lead up to the 112th Grey Cup, allowing football and golf fanatics to soak up the sun. CTV's Joseph Bernacki joins us outside tonight, taking in some of the mild weather. Joseph, I understand you even got to hit a few golf balls on the driving range today. Not a bad job.
It certainly is, Marilee. Yes, I had a lot of fun earlier today meeting several golfers in North Winnipeg and also getting a chance to work on my golf swing. There's actually some ice right now behind us in the river here, the Assiniboine River at the Forks. That may melt in the next coming days based on the upcoming forecast. Of course, the warm weather is also bringing in football fans ahead of the 112th Grey Cup. The strike of a 5-wood connecting with a golf ball in November is a rare Manitoba sound. That's why some golfers at Shooters Family Golf Center took the chance to hit the links this late in the year.
I've never even considered golfing in November before. Usually I'm playing hockey already, so to be able to golf in late November is pretty special.
Kyle Calder loves to swing the irons. He played 63 rounds of golf this year, so when he heard Shooters was reopening this week, he quickly drove in from Beausejour.
I immediately got ready to get over here as quick as I could kind of thing. It's been really nice that it's been an extended season.
Calder wasn't the only golfer this afternoon on the range. Dick Mulholland says he was delighted to book an afternoon tee time. During the golf season, he comes here 4 to 5 times a week.
November the 12th, beautiful day. Love the game. I mean, just favorite pastime, especially having the sun out. Bright and sunny today makes it nice and warm.
Temperatures Wednesday afternoon rose above 6 degrees, well above the normal this time of year of -1. And golf won't be the only sport to benefit from the warm weather. Officials from Environment Canada say we can expect an above-seasonal lead-up to the Grey Cup.
It's quite a bit above normal for the next couple of days here. It's looking like maybe 10 or 11 degrees for the high on Friday for Winnipeg.
Colangelo says temperatures should return closer to normal for Grey Cup Sunday, with an expected high of +1. Still, the early heat is creating a buzz amongst former players and CFL analysts.
Winnipeg this time of year, I mean, we'll see some people up there with some flip-flops on.
Blue Bomber veteran Milt Stegall says fans can expect a heated match between the Saskatchewan Roughriders and Montreal Alouettes, especially if the good weather holds.
You don't want the elements to come into play. You want it to be all based on the talent and execution, so I think it's a good thing.
Things looked a lot different the last time Winnipeg hosted the Grey Cup on November 29th, 2015. Temperatures that morning started at -10 and then later rose to -2, of course, not factoring in wind chill. Things certainly look a little bit warmer set for this weekend based on historical data from Environment Canada.
I'm curious, Joseph, are you going to take Milt up on that tip and maybe sport some flip-flops this week?
It's not a bad idea, Marilee. I don't need a toque right now at the Fork, so things are certainly looking on the way up.
Yeah, it's probably the better way to go. All right, thanks, Joseph. Let's bring in Colleen Brady now, get a first look at your Skywatch forecast. Flip-flops, I'm sure we're going to see tank tops, shorts. I mean, we've seen this when it gets this warm. Colleen, you're pretty popular these days.
You know, as I said in our last hour, the hardest part of my day was selecting a couple of photos because of the aurora borealis that lit up all of Manitoba overnight. Boy, oh boy, do we ever receive a lot of photos. Thank you to everybody. We've selected a couple, but you know, if you want to check out our website, we have all kinds of Northern Lights coverage. Will you be able to see them tonight, though, in case you're one of the handful of people like me who couldn't see them at all last night? Well, yeah, we have a good shot again tonight. You can see here on the satellite radar, pretty clear tonight. This is not going to change in the overnight hours, so the odds are looking pretty good for another spectacular display again tonight. But as we mentioned, we have all kinds of things coming up. We have the Grey Cup Festival in the next couple of days. We have the Santa Claus Parade. We have the Grey Cup itself. We even have the tree lighting at City Hall coming up on Monday. So lots of things to do outside, and the temperatures, they will be cooperating, as I will be showing you. Let's take a look right now, though, first through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, just a few clouds, if you can even find them. Otherwise, it's clear. 1 degree. Winds out of the west, 18 kilometers an hour. The pressure's rising, and the humidity right now is 74%.
Thanks, Colleen. The prairie skies lit up Tuesday night with one of the most incredible Northern Lights shows in recent memory. And we could be in for another performance in the coming hour. CTV's Daniel Halmerson has more on the celestial spectacle.
Swirls of pink and red danced alongside swaths of green and blue across the night sky Tuesday as the Northern Lights put on a show for the ages.
My husband's from northern Manitoba and have seen the green ones quite a few times, but never seen anything pink like that. It was phenomenal.
I knew it was going to be a good night because it was clear skies here in Manitoba, so I just, after sunset, made my way out to one of my favorite spots.
Videographer Anthony Urso captured the celestial event in this stunning time-lapse video taken a little north of Winnipeg. Urso says these types of shots take patience and some practice, but the payoff can be extraordinary.
There's essentially nothing more that I'm passionate about than going out and just capturing the beauty of this world.
And the kaleidoscope of color left even the most experienced stargazers in awe.
Oh man, the sky was just covered from horizon to horizon, and the red. I've never seen red that bright before in 40 years of sky watching. It's just intense.
The Manitoba Museum's Scott Young describes aurora borealis as a solar storm when charged particles from the sun collide with gases in the Earth's atmosphere.
The speed of the wind and the intensity of the wind is what determines how bright it is and how colorful it is. And last night we had like a force 10 hurricane of solar wind, basically.
Young says that's why the reds and pinks were so visible to the naked eye Tuesday.
There's often red in Aurora, but it's very hard to see, especially from inside the city, because our eyes aren't very red sensitive, and it's just not the brighter part. Sometimes we'll see green or maybe just gray.
And those looking towards the skies are hoping another stunning show is on its way.
The colors I've seen last night are world class. The only time I've ever seen that was back in the 70s in the Yukon when I was working in the mountains.
Daniel Halmerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicts there will likely be a lot of aurora activity again tonight. Scott Young says heading out of the city is your best chance to see the northern lights in all its glory. He says find a dark but safe spot, turn your headlights off, and enjoy the show. A man is recovering after Mounties say he was accidentally shot by a hunter in southern Manitoba. The 66-year-old man called for help from his home in the RM of Victoria Tuesday morning. He was taken to hospital with a gunshot wound to his arm and released later the same day. Mounties later caught up with and arrested a group of 3 teenagers who were out hunting. A 14-year-old girl and 2 boys, aged 16 and 17, are charged with careless use of a firearm, discharge of a firearm while being reckless, and assault with a weapon. 2 are also charged with unauthorized possession of a firearm. The city of Winnipeg says a crackdown on bus fare evasion is paying off. Numbers released today show thousands were denied a ride and hundreds more paid when they were asked to do so. And as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you now, Transit says it's losing millions of dollars a year because of free rides.
Ronald Woods is a regular bus rider. He says most people pay their fare, but not everyone.
They just say they don't have the fare right now.
He says despite not paying, they usually get to ride anyway.
The bus drivers basically just let that go, I think. Yeah, they don't make a big stink about it, I don't think.
Transit estimates they're losing between $7 and $10 million a year because of fare evasion, but that could be changing.
It's a lot of lost revenue, and we're trying to fix that.
The city announced a crackdown in September with police, transit safety officers, and inspectors. Since then, there have been more than 4,900 denied rides. More than 2,670 people walked away before being prompted to pay. There were 931 warnings, and 359 riders paid after they were asked to. Police have also been patrolling the transit system and made 9 criminal code arrests.
It's astounding how many criminal charges have been laid. It's astounding how many people have been stopped from getting on the bus.
The union representing drivers says 90% of assaults are related to conflicts over unpaid fares. They say the extra enforcement is starting to pay off.
And our members are starting to feel a little bit safer knowing that they're out there. And, you know, it's going to have a residual effect of more people are going to feel safer on the bus, and the more people are going to start taking the bus again.
While the crackdown will continue, Public Works Committee Chair Janice Lukes does want people to know the cops and the safety officers won't be heavy-handed with all fare evaders.
You know, obviously, if it's a mom with kids that, you know, has their hands full, or if it's a senior or whatever the situation, they use discretion.
The city is also planning a fare payment campaign. It will include bus, bench, shelter, and digital ads. Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Mounties are asking for your help as they investigate another arson at a business in southern Manitoba. This time, though, the arsonist was successful. 2 weeks ago, we told you RCMP were investigating after someone drove a forklift loaded with jerry cans filled with diesel fuel right through the door of a business and then attempted to set it on fire. This happened on October 10th at a property on Road 6 West in the RM of Morris. That's near Low Farm. RCMP were called back to the property early Friday morning, and the same building was engulfed in flames. Investigators believe it was deliberate, and anyone with information is asked to contact Morris RCMP or Crime Stoppers. A 22-year-old man from the RM of Stanley is dead after a fatal rollover yesterday. It happened around 6:45 Tuesday morning. The vehicle rolled over on Highway 14 between Road 19 and 20 West. When officers arrived, they were met by the Winkler Fire Department, who told them the driver was dead. An investigation determined the man was driving a truck eastbound on Highway 14 when it slid into the oncoming lane. The truck then veered back before striking multiple trees and rolling into the ditch on the south side of the road. The man was the sole occupant of the vehicle and was found outside of the truck. The federal government is looking for housing developers for the Nuevo Dana project in West Winnipeg. Ottawa has issued a request for qualifications as it looks to speed up construction of 320 units at the site right along Kenaston Boulevard. It envisions a mix of units and buildings between 2 and 10 stories tall. The feds are now looking for design-build teams for the project with preference. The city is considering giving a discount to those who pay their property taxes early. A motion making its way through City Hall would see a 2.4% discount given to businesses and homeowners who pay their property taxes during January and February. The Public Service says the money would be used in short-term investments, providing the city with a slight boost in revenue. If approved, it would start in the new year. Separately, the city is also looking to lower the penalty for late payments on business and property taxes. It would mean the compounded tax penalty rate would drop from 41% to 34% or 2.5% a month. It comes after the city realized its bylaws were not in line with recently changed federal regulations, which were supposed to take effect at the beginning of the year. It means some 14,000 people who paid a tax penalty this year would see a refund. Both tax motions will appear before the Executive Policy Committee Tuesday. A chance encounter Monday led police to arrest a man in connection to a months-long string of thefts at Polo Park Mall. Police came across a man suffering a medical episode while at an unrelated call at a home in the 200 block of Furby Street. They soon realized he had 9 outstanding arrest warrants and was allegedly behind several thefts at the mall between May and October. The total value of the pilfered goods was in excess of $20,000. A 23-year-old man is now facing nearly 30 charges, mostly for theft under $5,000, along with identity fraud and failure to comply. There's a whole lineup of Grey Cup events and activities for fans ahead of this weekend's big game, and CTV News got a bit of a sneak peek today. Check this out. This is a look at some of the preparations underway at the Axworthy Health and Recplex. The TELUS CFL fan experience allows fans to test their skills in a challenge involving passing, catching, running, and vertical jumping. There's also a 40-yard dash challenge. The fan experience is free to all ages starting tomorrow at 4 p.m. until Saturday. As the holiday season nears, a familiar sight is coming up in front of City Hall. The City of Winnipeg began installing its artificial Christmas tree today on Main Street. The massive tree features lights and decorations with the annual tree lighting ceremony planned for Monday. You'll be able to watch that happen live right here on CTV News. Still to come tonight, email bombshell. Emails from the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein surface, tying President Donald Trump to new allegations. Those details just ahead.
We all know just how cold Manitoba winters can be. Imagine not having a winter coat, boots, a toque, or mitts, and stepping out into the cold. That's the reality for many kids. But you can change that. Give the gift of warmth. Donate to Coats for Kids.
Taking a look at the markets tonight, crude oil is down $2. The Canadian dollar up slightly. Gold jumped $97. The TSX added 418 points. The Dow Jones gained 326 points, while the Nasdaq lost 61 points. A community in southern Ontario is in mourning tonight. 3 teenagers are dead and another is in hospital with life-threatening injuries after a crash on a rural road. Investigators with West Grey Police say 4 teens between the ages of 15 and 17 were inside the vehicle when it veered off the road and flipped several times. 3 of the teens were thrown out of the car and died. A 4th, who was trapped in the car, was airlifted to hospital in London with serious life-threatening injuries. All 4 were students at John Diefenbaker Senior School in Ontario. A small memorial grows near the crash site where a cross, flowers, and teddy bears have been laid. Crown prosecutors in Saskatchewan have decided not to appeal a Manitoba judge's decision to stay sexual assault charges against former fashion mogul Peter Nygard. A spokesperson for Saskatchewan's public prosecutions says after careful review, the organization determined an appeal would not be appropriate in the case. A judge ruled last month the charges were to be stayed after Nygard's lawyer filed an application citing missing documentation notes from 1993. Police interviews, which are no longer available and are presumed to have been purged due to the passage of time. Saskatchewan prosecutors say the criminal code only allows for Crown appeals due to legal errors. Nygaard is still facing sex charges in other jurisdictions. Some Manitoba municipalities are renewing calls for the province to make legislative changes which would reduce the role police play in responding to mental health calls. This comes as rural and northern communities deal with ongoing staffing shortages and a rise in mental health calls. The Manitoba government committed to an extensive review of the Mental Health Act a year ago after families and advocates pressed for changes in how wellness calls are handled. Current legislation states peace officers are the only people able to detain someone experiencing a mental health crisis. Data from Manitoba RCMP show from 2022 to 2024, officers spent an average of 659 hours per month waiting or escorting patients to hospitals or mental health facilities. We won't hear officially until tomorrow, but CTV News already has a sense of what Mark Carney will unveil in the second phase of new nation-building projects. CTV's Abigail Beeman has the story.
Lism's LNG is charting a new course for a better future.
A promotional video explains the Silissim's mobile LNG facility, one of the major projects expected to be added to the list by the Prime Minister in Prince Rupert Thursday.
And has North America's shortest marine route to growing Asian markets.
In addition to Silissim's in BC, CTV News has learned the Prime Minister is expected to announce a hydroelectric development project in Iqaluit, the Sisson Mine project in New Brunswick, and the Crawford Nickel Mine project in Northern Ontario.
50% of global nickel comes from Indonesia. The Chinese own 75% of those mines. We have to disrupt their stranglehold of the supply chain.
Mark Carney has faced criticism for picking projects already in various stages of development.
There's not a single project that he has launched that was not already in the making or approved before he took office.
In 2017, Dominic LeBlanc, still a minister now, said construction on the Sisson mine should start the next year.
I think that North America and Canada benefit strategically.
That mine has faced more than a decade of environmental approvals and delays. The defense minister today asked about the U.S.'s nearly $21 million contribution to it.
Our Defense Department is cooperating with our Department of Natural Resources in order to help, first of all, identify the extent of critical minerals in Canada.
These types of developments can carry dire and very expensive long-term liabilities. Short-term needs are very real in the Canadian economy. Long-term thinking also is needed.
As for the status of an east-west pipeline pushed by Alberta, no word that it will be on tomorrow's list. Danielle Smith has said she's in daily negotiations with Ottawa, hopeful that a memorandum of understanding will be ready by Sunday's Grey Cup or shortly after. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
A Winnipeg-based company is moving some of its operations from the U.S. to Winnipeg.
We made a deliberate choice to bring these jobs home because we see Manitoba as a strategic advantage. Its combination of skilled, hard-working talent pool, a business-friendly environment, and more affordable cost structures allows us to remain globally competitive.
Dua Color Services, a leading manufacturer of color sampling tools such as paint swatches, recently acquired one of its largest U.S.-based competitors. It says the move will create 94 new jobs in the province and new training for 42 existing employees. The provincial and federal governments are contributing a combined $159,000 to help the company with its plans.
Now, this investment helps to focus on the growth of Manitoba businesses. People gaining new skills, people investing in their strengths, in innovation, in new technologies, and in manufacturing.
The funds come through the Canada-Manitoba Labour Market Transfer Agreement. The Foreign Affairs Minister has announced a new round of sanctions on Russia. Anita Anand says the sanctions aim to increase the economic cost on Russia for the invasion of Ukraine.
As G7 president in 2025, Canada has made it a priority to maintain and strengthen our support for Ukraine at every opportunity. Canada will continue to ensure that Russia's actions do not go unpunished. We firmly believe that continued collective pressure on Russia is necessary.
Today's sanctions freeze assets held in Canada for 13 Russian nationals and 11 entities and banned Canadian financial institutions from providing services to them. The White House is lashing out after Democrats released emails today from deceased convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Damning emails mention Donald Trump multiple times, alleging he knew of Epstein's criminal activities. Joy Malbin has more from Washington.
The private emails are straight from convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein discussing his relationship with Donald Trump. In 2011, 3 years after Epstein pleaded guilty to sex crimes involving a minor in Florida, he wrote to his now convicted partner Ghislaine Maxwell, "I want you to realize that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim, spend hours at my house with him. He was never once mentioned, police chief, etc." Maxwell responded, "I've been thinking about that." That victim, Republicans say, was Virginia Giuffre, who said she never witnessed wrongdoing by Trump. In her memoir, she described being recruited from Trump's Mar-a-Lago club by Ghislaine Maxwell and trafficked to rich and powerful men, including the former Prince Andrew. In 2019, while President Trump was running for re-election, Epstein wrote author Michael Wolff, taking issue with Trump's claim that he kicked Epstein out of his club, alleging Trump knew about Epstein's illegal behavior. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Maxwell, who's reportedly applying for clemency, told the president's lawyer in July she never saw Trump at Epstein's home.
I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way.
The White House accuses Democrats of trying to smear the president by releasing selective emails.
It just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party.
The Trump administration has formally closed the Epstein case, but Democrats hope releasing these emails can force a vote in the Republican-controlled House and get all of the files released. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
Dozens of protesters breached security at the COP30 climate summit in Brazil and forced their way into the main venue.
They're going to try it. Doors are opening up. They're going through.
The activists, some dressed in traditional indigenous clothing, managed to get into the building yesterday as delegates were leaving. 2 security workers were slightly injured. The demonstrators were demanding action on climate and forest protection. Well, don't panic if you see heightened military activity around 17 Wing here in Winnipeg tomorrow. Military officials are planning to hold an emergency response exercise at the site. Starting at 8 a.m., the base-wide emergency will conduct a simulation of a natural disaster. We're told military and civilian emergency vehicles will be coming and going from the base, and people with simulated injuries will be part of the exercise. It's all part of ongoing efforts to maintain readiness. The exercise is expected to run until 8 p.m.
I wanted to find out who I was after my husband passed away.
Walking is good for your health, but how about a month-long loop around Prince Edward Island? Many Canadians are making that trek, including this woman from Winnipeg. That story just ahead.
Yes, it is November, the mid part of November by the time certainly we get to Friday. 11 degrees our forecast high that day. We'll see sunshine in the morning, a little bit more cloud as we get into the afternoon, but did I mention it's going up to 11 degrees? Now, a bit of a drop off, shall we say, by the time we get to the weekend, but still slightly above normal. Sunshine Saturday and Sunday. We have the Santa Claus parade on Saturday, a high of 2 degrees. The sun will have set by that point, though, so bundle up. Do that again for the Grey Cup, a high in the afternoon of 2 degrees, 2 on Monday, 0 on Tuesday.
RCMP have made a significant seizure of cocaine from a residence in Thompson, and now 2 people are facing charges. Mountie seized approximately 4.5 kilograms of cocaine from a residence on Riverside Drive November 4th. The search warrant was executed as part of an ongoing drug investigation. RCMP also seized a large amount of Canadian currency, ammunition, several firearm magazines, and Rolex watches. A 27-year-old man and a 35-year-old woman, both from Thompson, have been arrested and charged with numerous offenses. Prince Edward Island is encouraging people to go for a walk around the entire province. The 700-kilometer journey takes about a month on foot. Maria Saru caught up with people making the trek, including a woman from Winnipeg.
Boots on red soil and one step after another. Veteran Sheldon White finished part of the Island Walk this fall, a 707-kilometer loop around PEI as a personal challenge.
The military experience helped a little bit because I was familiar with going on long marches, but it was more challenging than I expected.
White flew airlifters for search and rescue and served a tour in Afghanistan before returning to the island to teach engineering. The former commander says out here, the mission is simple but not easy.
Walking for 5 hours straight without a break is actually fairly hard. And then to do that multiple times, I have a lot of respect for the people who've done the entire walk.
Much of the Island Walk runs right here on the Confederation Trail. Some tackle it by foot, others by bike, with many finding hard-earned healing along the way.
It's been a hell of a trip.
Sandra Cernowski from Winnipeg walked for 32 days, carrying profound personal loss.
I wanted to find out who I was after my husband passed away, after his battle with cancer.
All around, there were signs he was walking with her.
So this penny here, can you see it? There was a day on the trail and I looked down and I found a penny. I picked it up and I looked really close and it said 1972 on it. And my husband was born in 1972.
Bryson Guptill created the Island Walk in 2019 after finishing a couple long treks in Europe. He wanted to give Canadians the experience closer to home.
When you walk for over a month and you're carrying everything you own on your back, it's a very, very cleansing experience.
Back on the road, White aims to finish the walk next year. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady back now with your complete Skywatch forecast. You were saying your toughest job today was picking a Skywatch photo for the pick of the day because of all the great Northern Light shots. But I thought it was going to be not getting outside. Did you get a chance to get outside at all today to enjoy these temperatures?
A little bit. You?
No, but based on what your forecast is, I'm going to make sure I do on Friday.
Absolutely. 11 degrees, folks, and the southwest even warmer. Yeah, so enjoy it while it lasts. It will change by the weekend. So Grey Cup Day, yeah, will be closer to normal for this time of year, but still even a little bit above then as well. So this unseasonably mild weather continuing, as will these clear skies as we head into tonight. Last night, the very first Northern Lights photo that arrived in our inbox came in at 6:59 p.m. So just as we were getting off the air, so really all throughout the next several hours, keep your eyes on the skies because you never know what you'll see up there. Same thing next door in northwestern Ontario, where the winds coming out of the west, those skies nice and clear. Not so clear for the north today. One of a number of disturbances that will be sort of trundling over northern Canada over the next few days, as they already have been, bringing some on again, off again snow to several areas tonight. Not much in terms of accumulation, but that could come later on in the week. Meanwhile, clear this evening across the south and overnight, as I mentioned, taking us into Thursday. A ridge of high pressure builds in over our region, and that will keep the weather even more settled than it already is. A little bit of cloud for that far northern area for the most part. A little bit of that snow still hanging on to the northeast corner there. Meanwhile, lots of sunshine continuing in the south, along with those very warm temperatures that will only get warmer as we get into Friday. But before then, we have this next low pressure system that is going to bring that accumulating snow to parts of northern Manitoba. You can see by Thursday evening, it's a fairly narrow band at the front end, a little bit of rain there too, pushing into the Interlake. But as this system continues to plod eastward, it will start to lift northward. And a lot of major regions in the north should see some fairly substantial amounts of snow coming through on Friday throughout the day. But even Friday morning, you can see that band of freezing rain along the southern flank, so it could be slippery there as well. Meanwhile, we'll just heat up in the double digits down here in the south, and as I mentioned, and as you saw there, it will be cloudy in the afternoon, but we'll take it for those temperatures. That's the trade-off there. Tonight, though, not cloudy, pretty clear, down to -3, winds out of the west 20 gusting to 40, sunny and -2 for the commute tomorrow. Mostly sunny in the afternoon, up to 16 degrees, light winds, and we have that on again, off again snow tonight for Churchill, Gillam, and Thompson. Thompson down to -5, up to -2 there tomorrow with more light snow coming through. Churchill and Gillam, your temperatures really holding fairly steady. Some periodic snow tonight for Lynn Lake, down to -5, just a few clouds for the rest of the northwest. Temperatures up to freezing tomorrow for most areas. Lynn Lake a little cooler at -3 with a little bit more of that intermittent snow. A few clouds tonight at most across the southwest. Brandon down to -8. Dauphin -8 as well. Sunshine for most areas tomorrow, as warm as 8-9 degrees for Dauphin and Brandon and the surrounding areas. A few clouds tonight at most here in the southeast. Overnight lows between -3 and -4. Sunny and nice warm highs between 6 and 8 degrees. And in northwestern Ontario, a few clouds over Dryden perhaps, otherwise pretty clear down to -2, -3, and lots of sunshine and nice warm temperatures there for your Thursday. Our first weather photo takes us near Greenland. No, not the country. This is a small community not too far from Luminor to the northwest. That photo is from Hans, a stunner there, as is this next photo. This is a different perspective. I thought this was a great shot. South of Steinbach, can you imagine just the entire sky lighting up from your perspective like it was there for Kevin through those trees? Send us your weather photos to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
All right.
An AI software company has been given the green light to start replicating some iconic voices, but not everyone is all right. Increasing numbers of actors are forming partnerships with AI companies. Matthew McConaughey is the latest actor who's agreed to have a digital version of his voice created. Sophie Flay reports.
It's Matthew McConaughey's signature line.
All right.
But the next time you hear it, it may not be McConaughey saying it. The Oscar winner now signing a deal with AI software company 11 Labs to produce a virtual replica of his voice.
I think Matthew McConaughey's involvement is really the biggest that we've seen of a living celebrity in something like this.
He's not the only one.
I am thrilled to announce that my voice and I are joining 11 Labs. Try it for yourself today.
You may recognize that voice as Oscar winner Michael Caine. Except that wasn't him. It was his 11 Labs replica. The company now launching what it calls the Iconic Voice Marketplace, a platform where creators can request access to celebrity voices, from Caine to Liza Minnelli to even long-gone stars like Judy Garland. But it's not a free-for-all. Users submit requests that must be approved by the rights holders before projects can move forward. Still, many worry the AI revolution will put voice actors out of work.
On the one hand, if an actor has given their consent, this is their name, image, and likeness that is portrayed in the most authentic way, which I think is the cinematic experience that we all want. However, it could come at the cost of other jobs.
While some stars are licensing their voices, others are being built from scratch. Poet Talisha Nikki Jones has created an AI R&B singer named Zanaya Monet, a digital alter ego that lets her turn her poetry into music. Now, Zanaya has a #1 single on a Billboard R&B chart, and a multi-million-dollar offer for a recording deal. And on the country charts, an AI-generated country singer named Breaking Rust just hit #1.
Not everyone's cheering. Some fans of Zanaya say they felt misled after learning she was not human. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Approximately 15% of Canadians will report a mild case of seasonal affective disorder in their lifetime. According to the Canadian Psychological Association, it's a type of depression that happens during specific seasons, typically the fall and winter. And while it's relatively common, many may not know they have it.
Seasonal affective disorder is really just a feature of a major mood disorder like depression, like bipolar disorder.
Clinical psychologist Craig Sawchuk says symptoms of seasonal affective disorder come and go with a change in seasons and can include feeling sad, sometimes described as feeling blah. Limbs can feel heavy, there's low energy, and a tendency to want to sleep more. There may also be carbohydrate cravings and weight gain.
When those symptoms start to become more prominent, they start to cause problems in day-to-day living, then that's when we look at a difference between just having winter blues versus actually being a problem of clinical concern.
Sawchuk says focusing on lifestyle factors can help maintain a regular sleep schedule instead of being tempted to oversleep. Exercise can also help improve mood and health overall. And he says to stay connected with others, avoiding making plans with others. So make those plans. Light therapy can also help. Sawchuk says using a light box for 20 to 30 minutes when you wake up can relieve symptoms as well. Half of Canadian men aged 19 to 29 are at risk of problem anger, according to new research from the Canadian Men's Health Foundation. Problem anger is defined as anger that interferes with daily life, relationships, or work. CMHF and Intentions Consulting conducted a national survey of 2,000 men. They found 50% of men aged 19 to 29 are at risk of problem anger compared to 22% of all Canadian men. The agency says its findings are indicators of deeper stress and a disconnect from support systems. Previous findings show half of Canadian men are at risk of social isolation. The president of CMHF says men are often ashamed to talk about their mental health, but hopes this research will be a call to action. Longer walks may be the key to a healthy heart. A new study showed a lower risk of heart disease in adults that walk in spans of 15 minutes or longer a day. The Annals of Internal Medicine studied older adults in the UK for over a decade for the research. The study found people who walked in longer spurts had the lowest risk of dying of heart disease. That's compared to people who don't take long walks. Those folks had the highest risk. Researchers say it's never too late to start walking.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
The music of Phil Collins and Genesis brought to life by the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra. That and more show announcements just ahead in Spotlight.
Magical sights and sounds are coming to downtown Winnipeg. It's time for the Manitoba Hydro Santa Claus Parade. Stream it live November 15th at 5 p.m. on ctvwinnipeg.ca. Brought to you by Manitoba Hydro. Spotlight sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg. Presenting Serena Ryder, the Merry Myths Tour.
The WSO has an upcoming show that's about to draw you in with an invisible touch. This weekend, the orchestra will be performing the music of Phil Collins and Genesis. Prepare yourself for a unique experience at Centennial Concert Hall Saturday. The orchestra will be joined by rock band Gravel Museum Music and the Horizon Choir to bring the iconic band's songs to life. They'll perform hits such as In the Air Tonight, Against All Odds, and Invisible Touch, reimagined for a full symphony orchestra. Prairie Theatre Exchange's latest play will take you from Kenya all the way to London. It's called Serving Elizabeth, and the story follows two women whose lives are interconnected in surprising ways.
Let me think for a minute. Mr. Talbot! What?
The show has two timelines, one beginning in Kenya back in 1952. There, a restaurant owner named Mercy is hired to cater a dinner for Princess Elizabeth, the future queen. At the same time, a young Kenyan-born Canadian in 2015 is working on a TV drama series about the British royal family. In Serving Elizabeth, these two worlds come together in a contemporary drama that will keep you guessing. For more details on the show and to buy tickets, go online to pte.mb.ca. An influx of puppets will soon be taking the stage in Winnipeg, and the show will mark a significant milestone. The annual Winnipeg Puppet Slam is returning on November 23rd to Gas Station Arts Centre. The live puppet theatre is celebrating its 15th year, showcasing works of puppetry for adults by local and international performers. This year's performers include a full-body puppet dance troupe, that's right, renowned marionette Estee Taylor, and an aerial performance. Showtime is 7:30 p.m. with admission at the door. Beat the Midweek Blues with some great entertainment starting at 7 with The Floor. George and Mandy's first marriage is on at 8. The Amazing Race follows at 8:30, and that, of course, is all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Primetime lineup is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
This could be the start of something big.
Happy birthday to us. How long CTV Winnipeg has been on the air.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Well, the normal low for this time of year is -1. Put it this way, yeah. And our lowest temperature, I'm getting confused here, it was -1. So a little bit ahead of the game. Our highest temperature was 8. That's pretty clear. Down to -3 tonight, mostly clear. Sunny and 6 on Thursday, 11, a little cloudier in the afternoon. 2 degrees on Saturday, the Santa Claus Parade Day. Grey Cup Sunday, also sunny, also a high of 2 degrees.
Thanks, Colleen. November 12th is a pretty significant day for us here at CTV Winnipeg. You could say it's our birthday, and it's a big one.
It's now my pleasure to declare this station officially open.
It was 65 years ago today when CTV Winnipeg, then known as CJAY, hit the air. The station first hit the airwaves on November 12, 1960 at 5 p.m. at our Polo Park location. It joined the newly formed CTV network the following year. Some of CTV Winnipeg's iconic shows over the years include Skittlebits, a noon-hour kids show that aired in the 1980s when the station was still known as CKY, as well as Archie and his friends. CTV Winnipeg moved to our current downtown facility in 2006. We got a lot of people working on this newscast tonight that have been here for a lot of those years. Our director, 37 years. Our switcher, 47, I think. So a lot of that same crew still with you tonight.
That's right.